not really in the mood today, but and also I'm sick right now, so that's why it may not be in the mood for record, but who care about that? Show must goes on, no matter how we tired. I'm not that tired anyway. So if I'm too tired, I I will not do anything. Need to rest. Okay, let's read some anything. Let's read. Turn on Substack. Search for something to read aloud. Substack. Okay, I will reading an essay. An essay. Essay. Writing essay as a way of learning. I struggle to write essays because I don't know enough about anything. I struggle to write essays because I don't know enough about any particular topic. I am no expert in anything. Heck, English isn't my heck, English isn't even my first language. Facts slip through my mental fingers like water. I recognize the broad outline of ideas but struggle to articulate their nuance. This creates a persistent sense of intellectual. This creates a persistent, persistent, persistent persistent. This creates a persistent sense of intellectual imposter syndrome. My brain bounces from one idea to another, and I can barely remember anything substantial about any of them. I feel really dis- I feel real I feel very dissatisfied with my depth. I feel shallow. It's almost like I cannot speak the language that seems to come so naturally to others. It's almost like I cannot speak the language that seems to it's almost like I cannot speak the language that seems to it's almost like I can speak the language that seems to come so naturally to others. I watch people construct I watch people construct elaborate arguments or explanation, and I marvel at their ability to stay with one train of thought, to build idea upon idea into something substantial. Their minds seem like well organized library, where minds feel like their minds seem like well organized library, library. Uh, They might seem like well-organized library where minds feel like a pile of sticky notes blown by a fan. As a child, I spoke too quickly, rushing through words as if afraid the thoughts would evaporate before I could express them. You sound just like your aunt, my parents would say, invoking a, invoking a relative nobody took serious. Strange how shame traveled from childhood to adulthood. Even now, 20 years later, when excitement accelerate my speech, accelerate my speech. That familiar tightness returned to my chest, a physical reminder of the fear that nobody would take me seriously. Would take me serious. John Didion once wrote that she did not know what she thought until she wrote it down. Didion, Joan, Joan Didion, Joan Didion once wrote that she did not know what she thought until she wrote it down. For her, writing wasn't about transcribing reform ideas, but discovering what she actually believed. That what she actually believed. When I first read it, something clicked for me. Maybe my scattered thinking isn't just a flaw to overcome, but a specific way of processing information that needs a different approach. Maybe writing isn't just recording thoughts. Sorry. Maybe writing isn't just recording thoughts, but creating them. The word essay come from the French essayers and essayers to try to attempt. Michael de Montaigne, Michel de blah blah blah, who invented the form in the 16th century, wasn't showing off what he knew but exploring what puzzled him. His essays were experiment in understanding, not demonstration or expertise. This is profoundly reassuring to me. The essay by definition doesn't demand mastery, it invites curiosity. It doesn't require conclusion, it doesn't require conclusion, but it values the progress of thinking itself. Writing an essay feels like walking through a dark forest without a map. The first steps are always tentative. You start with a native opinion, the surface understanding that first springs to mind. But as you write, something shifts. You realize how little you actually know. This awareness is uncomfortable but necessary. Writing is a form of thinking, a method of learning that makes demands that passive reading doesn't. When I just read about a topic, the information washes over me without resistance. I cannot for long feeling like I'm understanding everything. But when I try to write down it, but when I try to write about it, that's when all the gaps in my knowledge become painfully obvious. Writing doesn't let me hide from what I don't know. There is a specific kind of learning psychology. There is a specific there is a specific kind of learning psychologics called eyesight learning. Those light bulb moments, those light bulb moments where seemingly disconnected piece suddenly form a pattern, a line gradual, a line gradual. Unlike gradual incremental learning, eyesight learning happens in flashes. Essay writing creates the perfect condition for these insights to occur. Something about the sustained attention, the attempt to articulate what you only have understand. This rhyme, this rhymes, this rhymes, this rhymes the mind for breakthroughs. When you write, you are creating what when you write, you are creating what cognitive scientists call an external representation, 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 representation. Oh God, I already know so damn much, and now it's even worse. Representation. Okay. When you write, you are creating what cognitive scientists call an external representation of your thinking. Your thoughts, once on the page, become objects you can interact with differently than when they are just swirling around in your head. You can arrange them, connect them, question them. This progress transforms chaos into structure, especially valuable for minds that naturally resist or organization. When we write, we say we build mental models that stay with us. The connection uh, forged. The connection forged between ideas become pathway in our mind. Become pathways in our minds. This is why writing can feel like watching a room gradually illuminate. What what was shadowed become clear. What seemed to what seemed isolated become connected. When we write essay, we build mental model that stay with us. The connection forged between ideas become essay also create a peculiar essay also create a peculiar time. Oh, what the hell this word? Dialectic, dilation. Dilation. Essay also create a peculiar time dilation. In confrontation, we swept along by social momentum writing. However, let me linger identify indefinitely 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 writing, however, lets me linger indefinitely on a single idea, turning it over like a curious stone found on the beach. This slowing down is essential for deep learning. The education, the educational philosopher John Dewey John Dewey understood this when he wrote about reflective thinking. When he wrote about reflecting thinking, the process, the pro, the, pro, the process of dealing with uncertainty rather than rushing to major conclusion is a institution is a oh, come on. Institutionalized. Institutionalized. He says institutionalized e-dealing. They give permission. They give permi. They give permission. They give permission for the meandering exploration that genuinely learning requires. I'm beginning to think essay writing might be the most valuable learning tool precisely for people like me who struggle with convention, conventional academic approaches. The essay doesn't demand that the essay does not demand that I already know. It invites me to discover. It doesn't require me to be an authority. It asks only what I be thoughtful, curious, and honest about what I do and don't understand. Beyond the beyond the immediate benefit to my thinking, essay writing connects me to a tradition of thinkers who have used the form to make sense of their experiences, from Montaigne to Didion, from Baldwin to Woolf, from Emerson to Zadie Smith. I'm in conversation with others who have used writing as a way to clarify their thoughts, to understand themselves and their world better. This sense of connection matters, especially for someone who often feels like an intellectual outsider. Intellectual outsider. Through the practice of essay writing, of essay. Oh,